It's now 2 weeks to go, exactly 14 days before the big day, Wednesday, September 3. I hope you're well, okay, good, great, amazing, yeah? It's a tough period for most of us. So much to do in so little time. Well, this morning, before I get into the political campaigning and scenes and sounds from the campaign trail, there was news on the performance of the Jamaican economy yesterday from the Planning Institute of Jamaica. The PIOJ, that is. They reported yesterday that the economy grew modestly in the second quarter of this year. And this is a continuation of the economic recovery following the impact last July of Beryl. According to the PIOJ, the country's gross domestic product GDP increased by 1.4% over the corresponding period in 2024. And according to the Institute, this was driven primarily by notable, significant gains in agriculture, which outperformed its pre-Hurricane Beryl growth rate. Siobhan Campbell has the details.
According to Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Dr. Wayne Henry, the modest growth signals the country's continued recovery from the major weather-related shocks of 2024.
Today, we are reporting that the Jamaican economy recorded an estimated growth of 1.4% compared with the corresponding quarter, April to June of 2024. The outturn for the review quarter largely reflected continued growth in most industries: agriculture, forestry and fishing, and the accommodation and food services industries. Two industries that were hardest hit by the weather-related disruptions of 2024 were key drivers of this positive performance. Both industries have entered into a new growth phase, with current output levels surpassing their pre-Hurricane Beryl output levels.
Growth was driven primarily by gains in the goods-producing sectors of 3.8%. Agriculture was the standout performer, nearing double-digit gains for the quarter.
The goods-producing industry grew by an estimated 3.8%, with improved performances recorded for 3 of the 4 industries, namely agriculture, forestry and fishing, manufacturing, and construction. The mining and quarrying industry was estimated to have recorded a contraction due to weakened demand and technical challenges. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Real value added for the agriculture industry grew by an estimated 9.8%. This outturn primarily reflected the impact of more favorable weather conditions, which contributed to an increase in output per hectare and an 11% expansion in the area of domestic crops reaped.
The services industries recorded only marginal growth of 0.5% for the same period. Growth in this sector was led primarily by tourism, as represented by accommodations and food services. This grew by 2.5%. There's also good news for the Jamaican economy's future prospects. The PIOJ is anticipating 2 to 3% growth for the next quarter.
Short-term prospects for the overall economy are positive, largely associated with the continuation of the recovery momentum as all industries are projected to record growth. This performance will largely be supported by 1. The recovery from the low production base during the corresponding quarter of 2024, when most industries were adversely impacted by Hurricane Beryl. In particular, agriculture production continues to benefit from the post-hurricane support to the industry, which has resulted in record levels of production for several crop groups. And this is what we call the new growth phase. And this augurs well for the related WR trim industry.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Siobhan. So some positive news there from the economic indicators. Yeah, it could be in the other direction, but we're back to pre-Beryl levels And that's good. Yes? The problem, though, the fundamental problem of growth in Jamaica, the growth is too weak. 1.4%. Too weak. We need to be growing at a robust rate, more like 3, 4, 5%. When we begin to grow at that robust rate, then more and more people will feel it, yes, and we can have more resources to take care of the many needs there are, including, greater levels of salaries, wages, fringe benefits, Another piece of data that we have been reporting and will continue to report because it is so important. One of the major obstacles to growth in Jamaica for a very, very long time has been crime, murders, robberies, shootings, and it is now a clearly established trend, that major crimes have been going down now for the last 2.5 through going 3 years, and accelerated this year to 43% reduction in murders. And there's a clearly established trend now. It has been around 40% for the last several months. And according to the latest data as we hear in this report from Shalois Michael, it's now down 43%.
Up to August 16, 422 homicides had been committed across the island. That's 318 fewer than the 740 murders recorded in the corresponding period last year. The JCF says St. Andrews South remains a hot spot, leading the country's murder tally with 50. The division recorded 51 fewer murders than the 87 committed in the period last year. According to the force, shootings also saw a major decline. The JCF says shootings dropped by 35%, coming in at 436. It's over 200 fewer than the 677 recorded in the similar period last year. St. James took the top spot with the highest drop in both major crimes. According to the force, the division recorded 51 fewer murders than the 87 committed in the period last year. In relation to shootings, St. James had 48 fewer incidents than the 83 recorded up to August 16 last year. The only other major crime to report a decline is rape, which is down by 25%. However, the JCF says break-ins and robberies are still increasing. Both major crimes rose by 26% and 9% respectively up to August 16. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Shaloi. So there you have the numbers. I know some people don't like to hear that news because crime has been a politically controversial issue in Jamaica for the last 40 years. We haggle and we politicize it. But we're in a new era now where the data keep coming at us. And you have to concede that the effort led by the administration of Holness, supported by the security forces, the men and women in the forces, we're seeing the benefits, of a reduction in crime. Now to the political campaign. And we have a lot of material from the campaign to share with you this morning. The Prime Minister and JLP leader was in a constituency yesterday that we here who watch these things find interesting. Which constituency was that? South Manchester. He was also in Central Manchester. Now, South Manchester has been traditional PNP. So too Central Manchester before 2020, when a young lady by the name of Rhoda Moy Crawford sprung a surprise and sent Peter Bunting packing from Central Manchester. The same Peter Bunting, having fled Central Manchester, he went next door to South Manchester, where he's now up against Ian Ives of the JLP. But before Ives came along, there was a Robert Chin who surprisingly won South Manchester in 2020 for the JLP. And according to the people of South Manchester, he did not perform well. So they sent him packing. And they now have a choice between Bunting and Ives. And the political wisdom is that Peter Bunting should win South Manchester easily. But that's not what is emerging. That's not what is emerging. Tell you more after the break. So we're looking at the developments and the campaign stops yesterday and the day before this morning. Before we take your calls, I was onto the matter of how things are shaping up in Manchester. The Prime Minister went to South and Central Manchester yesterday to support Rhoda Moy Crawford in Central against the Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, and Ian Ives in the South against the PNP heavyweight Peter Bunting. And I was telling you that the conventional political wisdom is that given the voting history of South Manchester, and we keep saying voting history, but this election, I think, is going to make a mockery of the voting history of several parts of Jamaica. Yeah? Incumbents are going to be surprised. And there are going to be other surprises that we don't know yet until the results begin to come in week after next Wednesday. So South Manchester, up to about 6-8 weeks ago, the PNP were very confident that they were going to sweep Manchester. That was when the JLP was struggling to replace Audley Shaw up in northeast Manchester. There were concerns about what they were going to do with Robert Chin, who pulled off that surprise to win South Manchester in 2020. And the PNP was cock-a-hoop that they were going to sweep Manchester. Now, something else is emerging. And the Prime Minister went to Manchester yesterday and told Labourites in no uncertain manner, that they are going to fight to retain South Manchester.
This constituency of South Manchester is one that the Jamaica Labour Party is placing some emphasis on. And it is very important that you, the supporters, understand that this is a constituency that we are looking forward to having in the victory column. So we will be campaigning this constituency heavily and strategically, not with too much noise and fanfare. Ultimately, we want to get to the voters. We want to talk to the voters directly. And I'm certain that our message is a better message.
According to Holness, if the JLP's Ian Ives were to be victorious, the party will help to resolve water woes facing several communities in the parish.
Water is a big challenge, and we have looked at the problem and we have come up with some solution. And already we have started to put in place some water systems. and Mr. Hines would have seen that those systems are working and providing water. In our next term, we will be focusing heavily on bringing water to those communities that now don't have water, and in particular, the communities in Manchester.
That's the Prime Minister in South Manchester yesterday. And we have some videos of him in South Manchester that we are going to play for you, including that story that went viral. Those two boys, little boys, who were crying last week when they did not get a chance to meet Andrew Holness, their Prime Minister. Well, apparently he returned there yesterday and met them, and I gather furnished them with tablets. Well, first, look at this.
Don't you look like this?
That was the Prime Minister in central Manchester with Rhoda Moy Crawford. And there he is, meeting a female, a PNP supporter, clad in her PNP colours and clothing. And she ran and hugged him up, squeezed him and wanted a picture. Yeah, so that is in central Manchester, going through with Rhoda Moy Crawford. And you know, somehow you get a feeling that Holness's pulling power, yeah, is back. Just look at how people are responding to him, yeah, and you realize that this is a Prime Minister with with political power, political muscle, yeah, and it's not surprising that in the polling data that we see for quite some time, he's far more popular among women than men, yeah. There he is in central Manchester. And then we're going to show you the video of him with the two boys, yeah, who he revisited the area yesterday and was able to meet them.
They cry until they fall asleep. Wanted to see a Prime Minister? Sorry about that, Papa. They really wanted to meet him.
I suspect this is Mateo.
Yes.
And Leon.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why this is so special to me? You know, I used to do this a couple of years ago when my two boys were little.
Okay.
You know, they're big men now, but I still have it in my arms to carry to them.
Absolutely. They're your cousins.
They're cousins.
They look like twins. His parents are
Oh, jeez. Shereen and her husband.
Yes, sir.
Shereen, how are you?
Pleasure to meet
Dad,
you.
how are you? Listen, you have two lovely kids. I hope I made your day today. Yes?
So, they cry until they fall asleep.
Oh,
and they
Lord.
wanted to meet you so much.
Well, look, we have a little token for them.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you.
A few moments later.
So there you have it. Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister and JLP leader. Yeah? I make no doubt about this, you know. He's hunting for votes. This is what politicians do when they are in the field, hunting for votes. Yes? But you can't help but notice there's something that is genuine about the exchanges. You know, some of the exchanges can be stiff, yeah, and not genuine. No, not so. We are now being flooded with the videos, yeah, from all over the place, yeah. There was one we showed you yesterday that came out of Eastern Westmoreland, yeah. Now we have one from Northeast St. Anne, Matthew Samuda, on nomination day. So what you're looking there is a massive crowd in the middle of St. Anne's Bay on Monday, yes, in support of Matthew Samuda's nomination for the JLP candidacy in North East St. Anne. And again, this is a seat that is known for being Shahini Robinson's seat, yeah, but the PNP is quietly confident that they could spring a surprise here on Matthew Samuda. And their nomination day, we have some pictures of what it was like. Their candidate, Dr. Ryan Simpson, yeah, this is the PNP motorcade on nomination day in the same Northeast St. Anne. Right? So that was the PNP in Northeast St. Anne. We have some more after the break. We're giving you some sights and sounds from the political campaign that is now running across the entire country, including some from Monday nomination day. We're going to take you to Southwest St. Catherine, where our correspondent told us, that's Andrew Hansel, our correspondent told us that both parties pulled out big numbers. That's where Kurt Wall is representing the PNP and the incumbent MP is Everald Warmington. Yes? Here is Warmington's crowd. Let me apologize. Did you, I hope that expletive didn't get out? Yes? I'm being told we deleted it. I heard it in my ears. And if you did, let me apologize. Yeah? It's one of the hazards of this. Yeah? That was not meant to go out. Okay? Please, our apology. Right, so that was Southwest St. Catherine on Monday. We're going to take you now to the PNP candidate on nomination day, Isaac Buchanan, yes, in East Portland. That is a photograph we have of that. Yeah, we don't have the video of that according to our run here. Yeah, PNP Port Antonio nomination road march. Yeah, nomination day road march. Yes, I think we have that. Yeah, okay. So here we go. Yeah, with the PNP in Port Antonio on nomination day.
Watch them, man.
So what you're seeing there, if you're on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live, yes, sights and sounds from the election campaign taking place. Isaac Buchanan being nominated in East Portland on Monday, yes, and the comrades turning out in their numbers for Isaac Buchanan, yes. We also have, which one we have next for you, Nora, for our viewers? Rhoda Moy Crawford, yes, in central Manchester, yes. Let's watch this one. It's on Nationwide 90 FM Live on our YouTube channel. Labourites having a good time in central Manchester on Monday during the nomination of Rhoda Moy Crawford. Yes? Now, we have another one for you. This is one of my favorites. Yeah? I love to see when the Labourites and the comrades are enjoying themselves. Yeah? And this one, a PNP man was at work on a JLP woman. Look at that. Yes? The PNP man at work. Yes? And they're having a good time. Because they're enjoying themselves. And that's how it ought to be. That's how it ought to be. The supporters, politics can be fun, you know. Some of us would like to make it deadly and dangerous. But that is what we want to see when the supporters cross paths. We don't want the abuse and the physical and verbal assaults. We don't want that. This is this is how they should be conducting themselves. Yeah? Probably go a little too far sometimes. You don't know what may happen later. Yeah? But that is something that is happening in several campaign spots. Yeah? So we don't want to give an impression that, listen, it's only the party supporters hurling abuse at it. No. See there? Jamaicans. They're Jamaicans first and foremost. Yeah? Supporting their parties. They keep the democracy going. Yeah? And that's good. Yeah? The PNP man try hard, you know. He might work. I think I will leave you as we go to the break with that. The Prime Minister was also in South Manchester, as we told you yesterday. But he made a deliberate attack on the PNP's Peter Bunting. Yeah? Listen to what he said.
Power. So if you put the two candidates, it is clear that one wants power to fulfill some lifelong ambitions that they believe that they should be the prince and the king of Jamaica. Ian wants to serve. People like myself and Ian are viewed with despise by these fake kings because we stand in their way of entitlement. Well, let me tell you something. You will never move me.
Andrew Holness on the political campaign trail yesterday in South Manchester.